Hello everyone, welcome to Course Creel. In this video, we are going to discuss another type of welding, that is submerged arc welding. So submerged arc welding is considered as one of the widely used welding process. It is also known as flux shielded arc welding, and it is a semi or fully mechanized type welding process which is used in different types of application like welding of pressure vessel, different structures in pipe manufacturing. So basically it is used for welding of thick sections. So in this video, we are going to discuss about different concepts of submerged arc welding like working principle, equipment used in the process, application, advantages, limitations, etc. So let's start this video. But before going to start, please like the video. If you have not subscribed the channel, subscribe the channel immediately and press the bell icon so you will get all the notifications related to channel. So technically here we should start from the working principle, but I am going to start with the equipment used in the process, because if you don't know about the equipment, you are not able to understand the working of the equipment properly in the working principle. So here I am going to start with the equipment of submerged arc welding. So basically there are three types of equipments are used in the process of submerged arc welding, and these equipments are power source, welding head and flux feeding unit. Flux feeding unit is the main unit by which we can say this welding process as submerged arc welding. As the name says, submerged arc welding. So the arc is completely submerged in flux to protect the weld pool from environmental contamination. That is why it is called submerged arc welding, because flux is covering the weld pool, or flux is covering the complete arc to protect the arc and the weld pool from the contamination. So here you can see this diagram. This diagram is representing the equipments used in submerged arc welding. So here we are going to discuss first the main equipment of submerged arc welding, that is power source. So in submerged arc welding, both direct current and alternate current, DC and AC power sources are used, and the power supply unit. So this is the main power supply unit. So the power supply unit are mainly considered as generator, transformer and rectifier set, where transformer is used as a power supply unit, and it is also considered as potential power source, and transformer can be rectifier type also, which is used for the power supply. And there is a constant potential power supply considered in submerged arc welding, where current varies from 500 to 3000 ampere. Now coming to the next part. So the next part is welding head. The main equipment is welding head, which consists of wire spool and wire feed system and flux delivery system and one electric contact nozzle. So these three main parts are considered under the welding head. So here one by one I will discuss about all the parts. So here first I will discuss about the wire feed system. So there is a solid wire electrode. You can see a wire reel and wire feeder. So with the help of wire reel and wire feeder, there is a solid wire electrode. You can see this yellow part. This is the solid wire electrode, which is used in continuous wire or coil form, and it is automatically fed. Here you can see this wire with the help of wire reel and wire feeder. It is automatically fed into the arc at the constant speed with the help of this wire feed system. So from this particular part, the wire will continuously feed to fill the gap or to fill the weld pool during the welding process. And there are two types of wire feed system can be used during the process. One is the constant wire feed and another is the voltage sensitive wire feed. So here this particular part is representing the complete wire or electrode feed system. So if we talk about constant wire feed, so constant wire feed mainly operate through induction motor which use constant voltage and which is mainly due to self-adjusting nature of constant voltage power source. Now, if we talk about the second type, that is voltage sensitive system. So voltage sensitive system operate on feedback control method, where wire is driven by variable speed DC motor. So here in this particular submerged arc welding, we are using constant wire feed which operate through induction motor, and these parts are representing complete wire feed system or electrode feed system, where electrode is used in the form of wire. Now the third part is flux feeding system. So flux feeding system is used for delivery of flux as per the requirement. So here you can see the main part of flux feeding system is flux hooper and flux nozzle, and this is the pipe from where the flux is transferring to the main workpiece to protect the weld pool from the environmental contamination. So this part, this complete part is considered as the flux feeding system. So flux feeding system is used for the delivery of flux as per the requirement of the welding. And the flux is considered as the granular flux, which is made of lime, silica, manganese, calcium fluoride, etc. Now, it is mainly fed by the gravity from the flux hooper, and this flux hooper is mounted on the welding head mainly, and the flux feed tube. So, this is the flux feeding tube or flux feeding pipe, and which is provided with stop valve also. So here we will provide the stop valve to control the delivery of flux, and with the help of this flux nozzle, the flux will be delivered around the workpiece or around the weld pool to perform the process of submerged arc welding, and this flux will completely submerged or it will deposited around the arc and weld pool to protect the weld pool from the contamination. So these are the three main equipments which are used to perform the submerged arc welding process. Now coming to the working principle and working of the submerged arc welding. So these parts are used to perform the complete welding process, and submerged arc welding working principle is mainly, it is similar to shielded metal arc welding, and it is operated in automatic or semi-mechanized mode. So these are the parts: power source, and the power source, the positive polarity is connected with the control system, which is further connected with the wire feed system, and the electrode lead, which is connected to the wire feed, and there is a wire guide and contact tube which is in contact with the workpiece, and the negative polarity is connected with the work lead, which is directly in contact with the workpiece. So this is the workpiece, and this is the joint we have to fill with the wire feed or with the help of wire electrode, and this is the flux unit, flux hooper, flux nozzle, and this flux nozzle is in contact with the workpiece, and it will spread the granular flux all over or around the weld pool to protect it from the environmental contamination. So these are the main parts. So here we are going to discuss the complete working of submerged arc welding. So if we see the working of submerged arc welding, so here the welding arc is mainly generated here. You can see the workpiece, and this is the joint where we have to perform the welding, or here we need to form the weld pool. So this is in direct contact with the wire feed electrode and the flux nozzle, which is connected to the flux hooper. So here arc is mainly generated in this particular area. The arc is mainly generated between this particular wire feed electrode and the workpiece. So this is the workpiece. These are the two parts which we need to join. So arc is mainly generated between this electrode and the workpiece. And the workpiece, so this is the workpiece, and these are the two parts. This is the first workpiece and this is the second workpiece which we need to join. This is the weld pool where we need to perform the welding. So the workpiece is completely submerged with the granular flux, and this granular flux which is coming from the flux hooper, it will shield the arc from the atmospheric contamination or atmospheric gases and impurities. And the filler rod, you can see the filler rod or filler wire, so it will fed continuously with the help of wire feeder system. So it will fed continuously to the point of arc generation. So at this particular point, the arc will generate and it will perform the welding. The welding will be performed at the point of arc generation where the electrode will come in contact with the workpiece at this particular point, and arc will generate and it will perform welding, and flux from the flux hooper, here you can see this is the flux hooper which is in contact with the workpiece again. So flux will be delivered through this hooper and it will spread all over this area, and it will cover this complete workpiece and complete arc. So the flux delivered through the hooper where workpiece will move accordingly to form weld joint, or we can say workpiece will be still, or the system will move accordingly. So suppose the workpiece is moving in this direction, so this system will be still and workpiece will move. Or if the workpiece is going to be still, so the system will move accordingly. So in this manner the welding will be performed. And in this process, this particular process employs such a large current which produce heavy arc or heavy heat during the process, which perform welding. So to protect the weld pool from the heat, the arc is completely covered with the layer of granular flux, so the welder feel comfortable during the process. So the main purpose of the flux or the granular flux which is covering the workpiece is to protect the welder from the high amount of heat and high amount of arc, as well as the another purpose is to protect the arc and weld pool from the environmental contamination. In this process, heavy arc is going to generate, which can harm the welder as well as it can harm the other part also. So the main purpose of the granular flux is to protect the parts as well as to protect the welder also. The granular flux is lighter in weight, so the flux which is nearer to arc, wherever it is, suppose this particular part is nearer to arc, so at that point the flux can melt during the welding process and it will form a layer of slag which can be chipped off later after the solidification. Now let's see the sequence of the welding process. So during welding, first workpieces are placed in the position of the welding. So this is the first process where we need to first place the workpiece and we need to do the arrangement of workpiece which is connected with the work lead, and that work lead is connected with the power source. So the first workpieces are placed in the position to perform the welding. Then the second process is start from the flux hooper. So the flux is deposited to the area where welding we need to perform. So the flux will be deposited in this area where we need to perform the welding. And this granular flux around the weld pool, it will act like a insulator. Then electrode in the form of wire will continuously feed and it will be in contact with the workpiece. So at this point, the electrode wire or wire feed will be in contact with the workpiece, and this is the point where we need to perform the arc. So this will be in contact with the workpiece and another point it will be in contact with the power source. So here, this particular part which is connected with the power source, it will help to supply the power to the electrode, and if it is in the contact with the workpiece, so it will generate the arc at this particular point. So at this point, the arc will melt the workpiece and fill a wire, and it will get deposited at the joint, and the flux is covering the weld pool and it is in lighter in weight, so the some part of the flux will also melt during the process, which it will form the layer of slag which can be removed after the process or after the solidification. And here what is the main work of slag? So slag we can say it is used to protect the weld from the atmospheric gases and contamination as well as the impurities. And the flux will supply, it will supply continuously as per the requirement of the welding from the hooper to protect the weld pool also. After welding, the excessive flux will be collected and it will be reused for other welding processes. So this is the complete working of the submerged arc welding. Now let's come to the advantages and disadvantages of submerged arc welding. So let's start with the advantages. So in submerged arc welding, the arc is mainly covered with a blanket of flux, so there is no chances of spatter of weld. Very less smoke is generated in this process, so this is another advantage. There is no arc flash and there is no fume is emitted during the process. The process is suitable for indoor and outdoor both type of activities. There is a minimum operational skills are required during the process as it is automatic process or semi-automatic process. The ultraviolet radiation will be suppressed during the process. So this is another advantage. There is a higher utilization of electrode wire during the process. So these are some advantages of submerged arc welding. That is why it is preferred for maximum manufacturing process or maximum manufacturing operations. Now let's see disadvantages. So it is mainly limited for flat welding position as well as horizontal position. Here, this particular type of welding we cannot use for all positions for the welding. So it is mainly limited for welding positions and horizontal positions. So this is one of the major disadvantage. Now next is it is limited for ferrous material and few nickel based alloy. Now the third limitation or disadvantage, it require additional flux feeding and recovery system. So these are the limitations which we considered in submerged arc welding. Now let's come to the application part. So here let's see for which purpose the submerged arc welding is generally used. So it is used in pipe manufacturing industry and for the welding of pressure vessel, etc. It is used in automotive industries, aviation industries and shipbuilding industries. And it is mainly used for the welding of low carbon steel, low alloy steel, etc. So these are the main application of submerged arc welding. So this is all about the complete concepts of submerged arc welding, like working principle, equipment used, advantages, limitations, etc. So hope this video is beneficial for you. You will get lot of information with the help of this video. So you can share this video with your friends and your known people for their benefits. You can like the video. If you like the video, please press the like button. You can subscribe the channel if you have not subscribed it, and press the bell icon so you'll get all the notification related to the channel. So thank you so much. See you in next video.